Maine's Democratic Senate candidate Graham Platner sounding a lot like Bernie Sanders, who joined Platner for a rally in Portland.
We need one thing, something the man speaking after me has been fighting for 60 years. We need a political revolution. It is thousands of people across Maine, millions across America, acting together, creating a movement too powerful for money to buy. We are taking back what is ours. We're going to take it back from the corporations that seek profit no matter the cost, from the billionaires for whom greed is the point, and from corrupt politicians like Susan Collins, corrupt politicians who have sold us out.
Platner leaning heavily into the same anti-corporate rhetoric we've heard from the suspects in recent acts of violence. That includes the man accused of planning to firebomb the home of OpenAI head Sam Altman, as well as the suspected arsonist behind a recent California warehouse fire. And of course, accused United Healthcare CEO murderer Luigi Mangione. All this, of course, as Platner refuses to apologize for resurfaced social media posts where he mocked Purple Heart recipient Teddy Daniels.
Any attempt to say that I disrespect veterans is slanderous and offensive.
Do you think you owe him an apology?
Good. Do you know how many of my friends have Purple Hearts?
I mean, Kaylee, he literally wrote in 2019 on Reddit, "Dumb mother bleeper didn't deserve to live." This was a man who was shot by the Taliban.
And I think what I find most offensive is that every attempt by Platner to explain away his horrific behavior and comments that he made in the past ends up being an attack on our military. In one recent interview, he tried to explain it away by saying, well, he had just come out of a hyper-violent and hyper-masculine environment in the United States military. Look, I know several men who serve in the military. My brother currently serves in the military. They would never use their current environment as an excuse for making horrific comments about their fellow men in arms. That's not an excuse. The military didn't make you a bad person. It just exposed you for who you really were. And I want to say one other thing about his fight oligarchy screed. It's ironic to me that he's out here claiming to be against the establishment, against Senator Susan Collins, claiming she's been in office for too long, while campaigning with the guy who has been making the exact same speech for 40 years while collecting a salary funded by taxpayers and accomplishing exactly nothing for the taxpayers he's supposed to represent. Bernie Sanders is the establishment. He can claim that he's fighting the oligarchy or whatnot, but he's doing the exact same thing that he claims to be against. He's only ever worked in a job where he's had a government salary. He has done absolutely nothing outside of that. So I do just find it ironic, to Kennedy's earlier point about Hassan Piker and the sort of champagne socialism that's now taking over the Democratic Party.
Yeah, Teddy Daniels, the veteran who he criticized, responded to this. Let's listen to that.
The people of Maine deserve so much better. Graham Platner does not represent Maine values. Now, I always used to say, you know, if I could, I'll care about Graham Platner's opinion when I can pay my bills with it. The sad part is if he gets into the Senate, we're all going to have to pay the price for his opinion and his unhinged policies.
Tom.
Okay, the guy's a total disaster, but Republicans have a huge problem with this guy. Did you hear his voice? He's got the rough hands. They're painting him, the media is painting him as an outsider, but he's not an outsider. He is being handled by the Democrat Party. The two big outsider races, Platner and Spencer Pratt. I mix up their names all the time. Spencer Pratt is being treated as a national story. He's not. He's running to improve a city. This guy, they want him in the Senate. He is a national story, but Time Magazine and all these other, they are painting him as this outsider. And every time they talk about him, he's an oyster fisherman and the way he talks, he's a danger. Because there's guys out there who don't follow the news and they say, oh, you're attacking this guy? He's politically incorrect. I'm going to vote for him. He is a huge danger, and I think he's going to win.
And very few Democrats, you think he's going to win? That's interesting.
Yes. Very
few Democrats calling him out. Here's one example, and I do have to applaud Jake Auchincloss for saying the truth. Watch this.
I've been clear about Graham Platner. I find that tattoo and his commentary about it to be personally disqualifying. I hope Maine voters agree with me. I think there would be a mistake for the Democratic Party to think that Graham Platner's brand of the Democratic Party is what wins us durable majorities throughout this country.
But we don't hear many Democrats doing that, Kennedy.
No, it's really interesting. And Susan Collins is not a MAGA Republican. Like she's not.
Nope.
She's a far more liberal Republican, and she faced a graver threat 6 years ago when she ran. I don't think he's going to win. I do think that the rational voters are. He's very loud and he's getting a lot of attention, but he has so many deficits that, you know, the only thing he has going for him is the anti-corporate class warfare. But that wears thin after a while because, you know, they're fighting the oligarchy, but that's their tax base for their free-for-all, their grab bag. And, you know, at some point they are going to run out of other people's money because those other people who pay all the taxes are going to leave their state as well. So that stuff is incredibly hollow. But he talks about, you know, they're taking your money. The government is the one taking your money. The billionaires are not taking your money. You willingly go to Amazon and buy stuff that is more convenient for your life. The government is the one that takes your money and spends it on things like the Leering Center, where you will never see those tax dollars. They will never be rebated to you. So that's why it's such an incredibly thin argument. But, you know, the personal flaws that he has are so incredibly offensive, hopefully to a massive swath of Maine voters.
But that's the great irony, Alicia, is you never hear them call out the fraudsters. It's always the billionaires, but you are loath to ever hear AOC talk about combating fraud.
Yeah, no, you bring up a very good point. However, right now, Graham Platner is leading Susan Collins in Maine, in polling. And I know we're 6 months out. I know we have a lot of time. But I think voters, and just from being on the campaign trail, I think voters have gotten to a point where they've had to make a choice. And they tune out these things that are incredibly offensive, and they make us sick to our stomach. And it becomes noise. Because all they see is there's somebody who's going to fight. There's somebody who promises change, whether they deliver it or not. And I think this is happening in the GOP. Republicans have their own issues as well. They're dealing with that in Texas right now. And I think when voters feel like there's, like in Texas, a candidate who's going to, you know, follow the Trump agenda and be behind him, they'll tune out anything salacious or any other problems that come with candidates. And I think that's a challenge actually for both parties, because voters are like, so what?
And you're 100% right on the polling. There's polling that shows him 6 or 7 points ahead. I would note that some people in Susan Collins' orbit said, hey, we were down by just as much last time. Polling underestimated us. So we'll see.
And then she won by 9.
And she won by 9. But we will see. All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.